We're going to go on to our next segment. This is an editorial, I think, from a columnist in the Washington Post, McArdle. And it's interesting. She kind of takes Biden, for good reasons, to task over his crime package. And she says it's big fanfare, but it isn't really going to work. Yep. You know it. Why isn't it going to work now? Well, aspects of it for sure. Expungement doesn't really work. At least doesn't in Chicago, right? The background check companies collect the data themselves, or did before the pandemic, from the records themselves. They don't have to expunge that. They only have to take stuff out of their database they buy directly from the clerk, or right from the clerk of the court, right? The stuff they type in the databases independently, and you can see them up on the 6th floor of the Daily Center, or you used to be able to do it every day. They're probably in all the courthouses around the county. They don't have to take that out of their databases. So expungement sort of works. Most of the arrest information from all the crimes these people do are still in those databases. Now, for here, what McArdle is talking about is to ban the box. So let's look at a couple quotes quickly. It's not clear that anyone should brag about ban the box, because while it certainly tries to address a real problem, an estimated 1 in 4 former felons is unemployed, a statistic that presumably worsened during the pandemic, 2 different studies have reached the same conclusion: that ban the box reduced employment opportunities for Black and Hispanic young men, as employers who were denied the ability to screen out criminal histories instead apparently resorted to cruder racial stereotypes. Yep, racism wins. Ding, 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 unfortunately. Next quote. Some social media phenomenon spikes as fast and sharply as the murder rate did across the U.S. cities in 2020. You generally want to look at whatever variables changed along with it. 2 possible culprits for the change of the past year are the stressors of the coronavirus pandemic and the controversies over policing that followed the death of George Floyd. Or some combination of the two. Federal crime policy can do little to address either. Damn straight. It's not a crime justice issue. It is not something to be solved by the justice system, to be solved by social policy. I think both of those played a role, although I think the pandemic played the largest role. If the problem was policing, then it would certainly take bold government action to improve policing and community relations, but mostly at the local level. Because if policing is the problem, it is not because all the cities suddenly ran out of money to pay their police forces, or because all the gun dealers simultaneously went rogue. Rather, the rupture between cops and communities made policing less effective from some combination of less active policing and less cooperation from suspicious communities. Amen. But the communities have been suspicious forever in Chicago and most urban centers. And yes, George Floyd made it worse. Eric Garner made it worse. Tamir Rice made it worse. We can go on and on and on and on. Breonna Taylor, you can go on and on and on. They've made it worse. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, that making it worse is at the hands of the police department. It's not at the feet of the communities. It's at the feet of the police department. It's in their hands. Stop killing Black men for no reason. You may get more cooperation and maybe less crime.